What's up, my peeps? This is your girl, Fabulous Fabs, coming to you guys with another short video. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in the last couple of days, but I honestly have been like in a funk, and I didn't want to portray that on the video because I'm pretty sure you guys would have noticed like I was just not being myself. I didn't even know what was wrong with me, and low-key, I think I was just getting a little bit depressed. My boyfriend and I live by ourselves in an apartment, and with my leg injury, which I pulled / tore my calf muscle, my right calf muscle. I am not really able to drive. I'm not really able to do anything. So it's basically like I'm just stuck in my apartment all day, every day. And then I'm a super outgoing person, guys. Like, I love to go to parties. I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go do activities. Like, I'm never home. I always work. I work at least 50 hours a week. And when I say that, that's paid hours plus the drive time and stuff like that. I've told you guys that, I'm out of my house most of the time, most of the day. But because of my injury, obviously I can't work right now. I am considered an essential worker. So when my leg does get better, I will be back to work. Thankfully, because I feel like I'm going crazy in this house. Like, at least my siblings, like, they have, their kids, or, my brother, Jerry Tweak, and Beauty Mars, they still live with my mom. So, like, they have other people to, like, hang out with, talk with. I'm nobody. I have myself. So when my boyfriend goes to work, I'm literally, like, by myself, and the TV. And I normally don't ever watch that much TV. So I think that's another reason why I'm, like, super bored out of my mind. So I feel like I was just, like, in a little funk. And I finally overcame that. So here's this new video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. I like to do a little bit of everything in my videos. So because of that, today is going to be story time, guys. And everything that I tell you guys, like, it's just personal experiences, personal stuff that me and my family have been through. And we want to let people know, like, don't, just because we look like we got our stuff together, we don't always have our stuff together, I know a lot of people, if you guys are from my brother's channel, Jerry Tweak, or my sister's channel, Beauty Mars, thank you guys. Shout out for you guys for following me and, for the support and the love that you guys show us. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about my mom. So my mom is, like, a super badass. Like, if you guys see her in the videos, like, she honestly is, like, the best. Like, I can't even describe to you guys. Like, I honestly was blessed with, like, super awesome parents Emily has gone through and stuff, and the experiences that we have gone through, especially during these dark times, because a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people can't afford rent, food, the whole 9 yards. We at one point were in that situation, and I felt like it was a good time to share with you guys some of the experiences that we've been through. And even though it's dark and it sucks, like, eventually you can overcome it. But it's not going to be easy, and it's going to make you a better person in the long run. It's going to make you appreciate everything that you have. It's going to make you a better person, a harder worker, like someone with, like, just better qualities, I guess you could say. So that's the reason why I am the way I am. Like, I always have had 2-3 jobs. I've always had, like, a full plate. I've always gone to school full time and had 2 jobs. Like, I've always been a busy bee. Like, I volunteer. Anything that you can think I do, like, but at the same time, I also like to have a good time. I like to party. I like to go out. I like to go on vacation. I like to, visit different places, do different things. But at the same time, I'm, like, very serious, like, when it comes down to, like, making myself a better person. That's what my parents brought me to this country for. Video is going to be on my mom. Shout out to my mom. I love her to death. I would do anything for both my parents. And when I say both my parents, and I will clarify this on my dad's video, anytime I say dad, ever in any of my videos, I never am referring to my real dad who planted the seed. I'm always talking about Jerry Tweak and Beauty Mars' dad. That's the only person I view as a dad. It's the only person I consider a dad. So, just so, every time I say dad, don't think I'm talking about the person who created me. That's not, I don't consider that person a dad. All right. So today I'm going to be honoring my mom in this video. So I had mentioned in a previous video, my DACA video, that my mom came from a really poor place. So my mom had 16 siblings. 4 of them passed away, 7 brothers, 3 sisters, and herself. So that's actually what, 11. My mom comes from a super poor place in Puebla. It's called El Platanal, and there she lived with her, how many did they say? 11 siblings, or 10 siblings, herself, my grandma, and my grandpa. They were really poor. They basically did the rancho life, They had ganado, which is like animals. They had sheep, they had goats, they had cows and stuff like that. And they basically is like the farmer life out there. And I had told you guys in the previous video, my mom and her sisters, not just my mom and her sisters were not allowed to go to school because at that time, back in the day, the women was not allowed to go to school because that wasn't their place, And so my mom went to school for 1 week, and then my grandpa pulled her out of school and was like, school's not for girls. Like, I don't want you to learn how to read and write because I don't want you to write a novio, to get yourself a boyfriend. And where my parents are from, the girls are known to get married like super, super young, or to run away super, super young. Like, I'm telling you, like 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and who get pregnant and, get married and the whole 9 yards. But they're known to get married really, really young. So my mom, she is actually the youngest girl in her family. So when my mom was 17, she had an arranged marriage with my real father, with the person who planted the seed. He is 15 years her senior, and she didn't want to marry this guy. But in Mexico, he was rich. I wouldn't consider him rich here, but he was rich over there. He had 1 store, 2 stores. I don't know the full story. But he was really mean to my mom, besides him being wealthy and stuff. He would treat her bad. He would hit her like really bad. My mom has never really actually spoken super negatively about him. She always was like, I've never even seen a picture of this guy. Like, I have no idea what he looks like and stuff like that. So he's never been in my life or my older sister's life. My older sister and I have the same dad. And then Beauty Mars, Jerry Tweak, and my other baby sister, they all have their dad, who's my stepdad, but I call dad. I left because he was abusing us really hard and I didn't like him. So I figured, like, I'm already miserable, I might as well leave. She had some siblings that were living here in the U.S. already. And she basically, they told her, like, if you want to leave him, like, we'll help you, And so, we'll help you get you to the U.S. and then you can start your life over. And my mom was like, okay. And so she did. So one time when he went to work, my mom packed like a little grocery bag, she said. She just packed it with basic essentials and like 1 pair of clothes or something like that. And then she just booked it. And she basically left him. I have gone to Mexico multiple times, and random people that I see on the street will like tell me stories, like, oh my God, like, we thought if your mom stayed, he was gonna kill her, and your mom's a hard worker, and your mom, like, we don't know why he would beat her so hard. Like, there's people that have told me stories that they'd see her like in the pueblo, like straight out like hella bruised or like bleeding, like, because he would beat her that bad. And they couldn't understand, because apparently this man was like super specific, like, you got to bring my lunch at this time. And like I said, back, even now they don't have a lot of cars in that little pueblito. Back then was even worse. So it was kind of like, if my mom she said that if she was even like 2 minutes late or whatever for his lunch, or if she got to the to the Cerro. Because even though he had stores, if he owned stores, he still would work in the Cerro, which is the popular thing to do out there, to work in the Cerro. She said that he would beat her if her food was cold, and she's like, I can't keep it warm. I'm walking like an hour to get to you, and you know there's nothing that else that I could do. And he would beat her for like dumb reasons. Kind of got a picture of him from like a little bit from what my mom said, and mainly from what other people have said. Other older people, you know, they were like, we would tell her like, you know, he's gonna kill you one day. He's gonna like, you know, basically like. And keep in mind, guys, my mom was pregnant with me when he was beating her. He was beating the sense out of her, which makes no sense. So thankfully, my mom's got her siblings' help to come to the U.S. And she came to the U.S. like with no money, not being able to speak her language, not being able to read or write in her own language. Like, I didn't know this at the time, but once I started growing up, like, I started realizing, like, she would never, you know how they always send you, like, home with report cards from school, and your parents had to sign it and stuff? She would never sign it. She would do, like, an X. And I had no idea. I thought that's what it was. Like at that age, when you're like 6, 7, 8 years old, you don't know, you know. And she would tell the teachers like the situation, like, hey, you know what? I don't know how to write my name, but if you see an X, I approve, you know. And so she came to this country literally with nothing, not knowing nothing, not even knowing her own language, not knowing how to read or write. And you know, she was staying with some of her siblings, and she already had my older sister. My older sister Anita was 9 months when she came to this country, and my mom was 8 months pregnant when she came to this country with me. I want to say 7 or 8 months pregnant. I don't know the specifics. But yeah, she basically gave up everything. Like, in her culture, you don't do that, you know, especially back in the day. You know, you don't leave your husband. You don't, because my mom got married the right way. Like, you know, they they set up the you know, they arranged the wedding, and you know, she got married to church. She was a virgin, like the whole 9 yards. She did it the right way, you know. And so you don't disobey your elders. You don't go out of the norm. And my mom did, to give me and my older sister a better life. And I don't know how ever I would repay her for that, you know. And I think that's why I'm always so hard on myself. I'm always so hard on myself because I even annoy the people around me. Like, sometimes I annoy my boyfriend. Sometimes I'll annoy my siblings or my friends, like, because I'm 30 years old, you know, and sometimes I feel like I haven't done enough to justify the sacrifice that my mom has made, you know, because obviously when she came to this country, like, she was in debt because, you know, they charge you to come here. And so she cruzó through the cerro, right? And she said that she lost her shoe and all this stuff, and she told us like the experience about how it went down. And even when she got here, it was a struggle. Like, she started working. She was working 3 jobs. She was cleaning houses. She would work at the swap meet selling underwear. And she's just a hustler. She always has been, you know. And the reason I try so hard, and the reason why I always work so much, people always ask me, like, all my friends always ask me, and my old coworkers and stuff, like, why do you work so hard? Why do you work so much? There's legitly been times, I'm not even playing, there's legitly been times where I have slept in my car to go from one job to another because I didn't have that much gap in time to go home. So I would be like, my boss would be like, hey, I got extra hours. if you can show up at 5 today, or, you know, I used to work for Ross Dress for Less, and on days that we had inventory, we had to be there like at 4 in the morning or something like that. But I would work the night shift at my other job, so sometimes I'd get out of work there at 12:01, 2 sometimes, and then I drive straight to Ross parking lot and I'd sleep there. I sleep there for 2-3 hours, do my shift, and then go home. And so people always ask me, like, why do you work so much? And I was like, why not? Why not? Like, I will never be considered lazy because I'm always doing something. You know, and I still feel like it's not enough. Like, I'm still not where I should be at 30 years old. You know, I'm thankfully I have my own apartment. Thankfully, I've paid off my car. It might not be the best car, but it's mine. You know, but I want a house. I want a house for my parents. You know, it's one of the reasons why I also haven't had kids, because I want to give my kids a better life than what I had. Not saying that my life was bad, but we had struggles, you know, like most people do. And so I think I'm always just hard on myself because my mom did it, you know, like she fucking handled business and she was like not giving up for nothing, you know. So she came to this country, like I said, with no knowledge. She was working and working and working. My grandma and grandpa were living here at that time too. Obviously, my mom had no money to support my older sister and me with the small jobs that she got done, you know, plus groceries, being a single mom and having to deal with the language barrier, a different country. Like, everybody helps you out for a little bit. And then after a while, they're just like, oh, well, I feel like this person's taking advantage, or they just low-key talk shit. And so, you know, there's times, like, I remember when she came over the other day, and sometimes we'll just go through pictures. I'm one of those people that likes to reminisce on the old because it makes me stronger. And it makes me be like, okay, you got through that. Like, you can handle this. Like, this is nothing, you know? And so we were looking at pictures, and I will post this picture for you guys. And she said, yo estaba bien desgraciada when this picture was taken. And me and my older sister were together at the time. And we were like, what do you mean, Mom? What do you mean by that? She's like, I couldn't afford milk for you guys. She's like, I couldn't afford milk for both of you guys because I just didn't make enough. She says, you see that bottle that you see in that picture? She's like, I'd fill it up. And then I'd have both of you guys share it. And Anita, she was a little older, so I could try to give her like other real food, whatever I can figure out. And you were a baby, so milk was what you had to eat. She's all like, sometimes I didn't have enough milk, so I'd put soda in that bottle just to stop you guys from crying because you guys were so hungry. And I can only imagine how any mom would feel, or parent, because it could happen to a dad too. Seeing that your kid's starving to death and there's nothing that you can do about it, and knowing that you've tried, you're doing everything that you can to make it happen, and it's just not happening for you at that time. Someone told my mom, did you know that because your daughter was born here, you can get benefits for her? And my mom's like, no, you know, she didn't know any of this. And she ended up asking one of her siblings to take her to like a welfare place, like a WIC place, you know, that helps people in need, helps people that can't afford food. So she went there and she asked a lady there, like, if she could help her fill out the paperwork. And thankfully, you know, my mom met a lot of nice people that would help her out and that would help her fill out the paperwork that she had to fill out to get food stamps back in the day. And she did, and I think that's what helped her get us through the rough times, you know. And at this time my mom was single, you know. She didn't date anybody or get with anybody. And so, you know, the struggle was basically real at the time. I can't imagine half the stuff that she's done. You know, I can't imagine leaving my family and everything that I know and go to a completely different country who I don't know anything about. I don't know the language. I don't know anything. You know, all I know is that I heard it's a good country and it's where dreams are made out of. Even me and Anita will talk about it sometimes, you know. I'm close to all my siblings in a lot of different levels. Me and Anita can relate more to the struggles, you know, because we were there, because we lived it, because we understood it, you know. We're a lot older than my younger siblings, so there's a gap between us. So Anita is 31, Beauty Mars is 24, so that's a 7-year gap difference. You can relate more to like being more aware of certain situations my family was in and stuff like that than, you know, Beauty Mars, Jerry Tweak, and my other baby sister, because we were older, you know. And I remember we used to think like sometimes like, oh man, mom's like, you know, once we were able to walk and talk and stuff like that, like we talk about it now and we're like, man, like mom was hungry all those times. Like when we would go eat somewhere and then there wasn't enough. And me and Anita, we didn't know. So my mom would be like, oh, look, I'm full. Like you guys can have the rest of mine. And, you know, like I said, there was times where we didn't have enough money for food, so we'd eat it thinking my mom wasn't hungry, when all along she was. The stuff parents do for us, man, that's crazy. I appreciate that all the time. I tell my mom, like, I don't know how you did it, but you did it. And that's the reason why I strive to be successful and I strive to prove her, like, proud. I think that's why me and my siblings all do that, because we've seen the struggle of our parents. And we all want to make them proud, and we all want to, you know, do the best for them. Because the stuff that they gave up for us, like, I legitimately don't know anybody else and that has done some of the stuff my parents have done for us. And once my mom got her benefits from me and got food stamps and stuff like that, people offered. And they saw, people that saw my mom struggling and saw her having a hard time and saw her, like, you know, I guess desesperada at some point, like, how am I gonna do this? Like, I can't afford to feed all three of us, and I don't make enough money. And think about it, at that time, limpiando casas, cleaning houses, like, people give you what they think you deserve, you know? They don't understand, like, if it's gonna be enough for you, or they take advantage of you because they know you don't have papers and you don't belong in this country, and they take advantage of the situation because, like, oh, what is she gonna do? She can't call the police on us, or she can't do this, she can't do that. My mom's told me where she had certain instances where she would work and they wouldn't want to pay her because she had no rights. When other people saw this, when other people saw my mom struggling, they also wanted to take advantage of the situation. And there was a handful of people who offered my mom money to adopt me and Anita. Not for good reasons. Not because they were like, oh, let me help this lady in need, but because I was born here and they wanted citizenship at one point, or because they wanted my food stamp benefits. And they were like, we'll pay you to give us your kids. But you can't, you can't see them again. You have to sign us a paper and we'll give you money and we'll keep them. But mainly they wanted me. They said, we don't want Anita. We want Fabi. Because I'm the one that was born here. I was the important one. Back in the day, people used to call me La Cheque. I didn't realize what that meant. And we would go to the park and play and stuff, and my mom would, see comadres there, or see people that she knew from her hometown, or we'd run into people and they'd be like, oh, estas la cheque? And my mom would say, yeah. And what that meant, that means check. Literally, my nickname as a kid was Cheque from the adults. Because to some of them, that's all I was just a check. If they had me, they would get a check. And my mom would say, no, I don't care if we die, but we're gonna die together. I'm not gonna give up my kids. She said, I'm gonna find a way. And I'm gonna raise these kids. And she did. Sometimes when I'm being ungrateful, when I feel like I'm being ungrateful, I'm just like, stop being a little bitch. Stop complaining about you want a house. Stop complaining about you want a better car. Stop complaining about your job, Because it could be worse. It legitimately could be worse. Because sometimes I feel like it's never good enough for me. Like, oh yeah, I got an apartment now and I live by myself, which is an American dream for us from where we come from, And I'm not okay with that. I want what's next? And I'm so hard on myself sometimes because I'm like, fuck. I haven't done anything with my life and I'm 30 years old. Like, I'm a failure. And then I have to have people tell me, like, relax, for 30 years old, you've done a lot. Like, you've traveled, you've done different things, like, you've helped out. Like, I volunteer every single year, guys. Every single year I volunteer. I've done the Toys for Tots. I've done the McKinley Children's Center in San Diego. Not San Diego, San Dimas. It's for kids that have been abandoned and neglected. I have done Feed the Children in Ontario. I volunteer a lot because I know what it's like to have nothing. And I like to donate a lot too. I'm not rich. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of things. I told you guys, I don't have a lot, but I give back what I can. And, I try to help those people in need, and because I've been there. I've been that kid. I've been, my mom's been that lady, that parent. And this video is basically just to help you guys give an insight of my mom is supportive because at the end of the day, she just wants to see us happy, Even if what we do or say she doesn't agree with, we know, me and my siblings know my parents have our backs. Like, for us, we grew up with the mindset family comes first. So for us, nothing beats family. Even if I do something my parents hate, I know I can call them and they'll have my back, or they'll come rescue me or whatever, or my siblings will too. So for us, like, family is the most important thing, and sometimes that's all you need to get through hard times, you know? Like, you can hit rock bottom, and it's gonna be okay. Like, it's not gonna be easy, but you're gonna make it work. You know, there's people out there who have the means to help out the less fortunate, who have the means to improve your life, who want to help, who will help. You just gotta have faith, you know, and it's gonna happen, and it will work out. And I hope to be a person at one point who can give back. You know, like I said, I volunteer every year. I donate every year. It's called United Way. I donate every year money to United Way. And I also volunteer my time at least once a year, every year, you know, to give back. And if I'm ever lucky enough to win the lottery or something, I hope to give back some more to people in need, because thanks to the Lord, my mom met some really nice people that have helped us out throughout the way, until baby Jesus brought my dad into our lives. And the video is basically just dedicated to my mom. I love you so much. And to just basically anybody struggling, you know, any parent thinking like they don't know how they're gonna do it, they don't know how they're gonna make it work. Like, it's gonna work out. You're gonna find a way. You're gonna do it, you know. Because if there's anything that I have learned over the years, is that you don't give up, and that parents will do anything for their kids, which is amazing, you know. All right, guys. Sorry if I made you guys tear up, but this is even just the tip of the iceberg, you know. My mom's an amazing woman, and I don't always understand her sometimes, you know. Like I've told you guys in previous videos, we used to butt heads a lot when I was younger. And as I've grown older, like, I appreciate her so much more. I love her so much more, and I understand her so much more. And I could not imagine ever losing my mom. My mom lost her mom last year, my grandma, and it was the hardest time I've ever had in my life, because I was really close to my grandma. And I can't even fathom the thought of that ever happening to me. So just make it count, guys, with your loved ones, with your parents, with your siblings. Like, you just don't know, you know? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.